Hi, Helen. I don't know if I can bring across what it is that I'm dealing with now for quite some time. It's like at some point, about 8 years ago, I bumped into something that I just couldn't handle. I don't even know if this is true. It's like even though I lived a very awake life with my heart wide open, knowing my true self, experiencing a beautiful clarity about myself and the world, at some point, some bubble has burst. During the years after, I became smaller and smaller. My consciousness shrank. I isolated myself more and more, withdrew from people, stopped my creative work as a musician, and so on and so on. At the moment, I can hardly do anything without being flooded by fear and shame, which leads to me not doing much at all. I can't tell what exactly has happened there for me, but it feels like until today, I am standing at the same door and I can't find my way to go through anymore. How can I stand this storm of shame or fear or whatever it is without losing my ground? Or do I have to lose it all to be free? Would be very grateful on any advice on how to go through this fire. Glad to have found you and to be able to meet you in this way. Much love from a burning heart. P.S. I'm from Germany. Sorry if there are any mistakes in my English. Your English is better than my English, I'll tell you that. Let me start by saying I remember that feeling vividly. Having seen what I actually was and having this kind of honeymoon period where that was just so stunningly clear and life flowed effortlessly. And unlike you, where it seemed to go on for a while, my honeymoon period lasted about 10 minutes before thoughts started to arise again. And what seemed to happen then is I seemed to lose that revelation. It seemed to diminish. And this is, common for many of us. We have some kind of glimpse or seeing, however long that lasts for, however powerful that glimpse is. It suddenly seems at some point, or sometimes it's very slow, we don't even recognize it's happening, to be covered back over by the sense of being someone and the illusion of separation in that. So I'd like to say that you didn't do anything wrong to lose that. That's the first and most important thing that I want you to hear, because I spent a long time blaming myself for when that was gone or seemingly gone, that I'd done something wrong to screw it up. And that's why I couldn't find what I really was anymore, that beautiful place where everything flowed perfectly and I was living in that. And I began to realize over time that what is actually occurring is, after having experienced that real infinite unlimited self, the cause what arose in me, as is arising in you and all of us, a deep desire to experience what is true, but continuously, for that to be more than just an experience, even if it lasts years, just to know that it will never go. And with that desire, to fulfill that desire, to have this be an effortless, continuous thing, then we have to examine the thoughts that come up, which seem to get in the way of that. So little by little, or sometimes very suddenly, that sense is gone, and we have to look at what thoughts are coming up to be examined. If we don't examine these thoughts, it will only ever be an experience. And as we examine these thoughts, it's going to be more and more of a permanent, stable thing. So you've mentioned shame and fear here. So what are the thoughts behind those emotions? What are the stories behind those emotions? And can you ask if they're true now for you? Because just because you've had this deep seeing, and even if it lasted a long time, doesn't mean that our brain automatically starts to think in different ways. Just because you've had this profound revelation, or even if it wasn't clear what you were experiencing, it was just very extraordinarily peaceful. Immediately, when thought starts back up again, we go back into the same old thinking about ourselves as a someone, trying to reach awakening, And that's what has to be examined, those thoughts. So what does shame say to you? For me, it said, I don't deserve happiness. I don't deserve to be free. I don't deserve peace. Sometimes it said, you don't deserve to exist even. It was, whatever shame's saying. Fear was saying, I'm not safe. I'm in danger. And I had to question that now. Given what I've seen to be true, is this still true for me now? So for every single human being, even Ramana, when he had his massive epiphany, it still took him 3 years after to sort through this stuff that came up after his seeing. And that's the bit you never hear about. That's the bit that we expect magically won't happen. That I have to examine the major thoughts that I've been unconscious of, not my whole thought process, but just the ones that are producing these strong negative emotions. Is it still true that I don't deserve happiness if I am the source of happiness? Is it still true that I'm not safe if I'm infinite, formless, and unlimited? Is it still true that I can't get what I want if I am everything that I want and could ever be in that? So I hope that helps there to start with the emotions that are coming up and ask the stories behind the emotions. This is for everyone that's feeling any strong negative emotion, and begin to examine that.